language that he uses online. It might seem simple, it might seem very, very kind of mtaani, as you might want to put it, but this is going to be very, very serious. It's a very, very serious issue, and I'm expecting to hear what my panelists have to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that matter, the circles that he was with earlier on, sai kila mtu anajitenga. No, I don't think anyone would want to be associated with, whatever is going on so far. But let's just generalize these matters of now. I don't know. People are definitely going way too far with so many things. Once you do something, people are just there live with their cameras recording you, just waiting to see what is going to happen. So I don't know what should be done in the public domain, because there's these leaks here. There definitely this won't be the very beginning of these leaks. There is more that is yet to come.
Well, I think what the former governor is doing is something great. These are matters of public interest. In journalism, we say that some things are interesting to the public and others are of public interest. I believe this is very interesting to the public, and it's also a matter of public interest. It's something that is very, very important, whatever that he is doing. But as you've asked about taking or recording everything, I think we should also do it cautiously, so that we don't land ourselves in trouble. I remember the IG Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambai, beg your pardon, saying that yes, it is okay for you to record police officers, but then again, there are lines that have to be drawn. If you aid in a suspect evading arrest, then you'll get yourself in trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you on that point. The stick might not be big enough to, beat off your enemies, real or otherwise, but it is long enough to, steer the hornet's nest. And also, let me take you back to, the robbery that the attempted robbery that happened in Equity Bank yesterday in Kisumu County. Was there, the escape plan, were they smart enough? And, do the police officers as of now need to just have a sit down and strategize, because nowadays these criminals are smart enough?
Well, I won't comment much on the matter, because yesterday, as of 8 p.m. we are still here with my colleague Liz Mutuku for our Swahili Bulletin, Upeo wa TV 47. So I didn't get to see much of it. We were following up on some other important matters here. Broadcasting live outside can be quite complicated, and I'm sure you know that. But I found it quite funny that after a 4-hour shootout between police and robbers, armed robbers actually, I mean, how did they evade arrest? It still baffles me, and I think when your coffee comes here, when it gets here, I'll grab my copy of the daily of the Standard. I see very dramatic pictures there. There's a police officer scaling a wall to gain entry into that particular bank. There's also a plainclothes officer in action with a big rifle, and then there are firefighters spraying water inside the banking hall to neutralize smoke from the tear gas canisters. So a lot of drama there in Kisumu. And as I've said, once your coffee gets here, I'll relax, nikunywe polepole nikiangalia, nikunywe coffee polepole nikiangalia this story.
Aya, sawa, I get you. Thank you so much for, joining me as I got to hit the newspaper highlights. And also, let's switch to the Daily Nation kidogo. There is that story there on the Mudavadi factor in the Ruto-Raila fallout. It's a story done by, written by Oburu Oginga, statement that he made yesterday, saying, quoting the genesis of the big split, stating that, Raila took a commanding lead as Mudavadi took a distant second. Ruto came in third. Raila had simply invited Mudavadi and held his hand high. Ruto had, from the beginning, felt that he could command more votes than Mudavadi, and therefore he was more suited to become vice president. Maybe you could continue on that story, Eric.
Well, I think what the Daily Nation is doing is serializing a book by Honorable Raila Odinga's elder brother, that is Dr. Oburu Odinga. And this is a book that he spills it all. He talks about the 2007 elections, you know, what happened, the results. There were conflicting reports about what really happened, what took place then. I've also not gotten my hand on the book, but I promise I will. This is basically politics of 2007. And basically what they're saying is that Mudavadi played a very, very big role to having these two not seeing eye to eye. That is the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the current Deputy President William Ruto not seeing eye to eye. So we have to get the book and get more details. But I think I'll also grab my copy of the Daily Nation. I think the story is on page 10 to 11. And as they serialize the book, I'll get to know more, and probably it will increase my appetite to want to read the book.
Absolutely. And also on that page we get to see the Attorney General Kihara Kariuki, you know, asks the court to halt Kinoti's jail order. You know, that he also argues that the contempt proceedings were instituted against the wrong parties, as the custody of civilian firearms is with the Firearms Licensing Board. Definitely plenty spiraling on that story.
Well, I think what the judge who gave out the sentence was very, very categorical that if the current boss of the DCI is not arrested now, he will be arrested in future. And you know, regimes change. I'm not saying anything, but it's true. We've seen people going to jail for their past mistakes. I won't mention names, but that is very, very important. You should also remember that you know, the wheels of justice can grind slowly. It can take years for that particular order to be implemented, but I think what the AG Kariuki has done is very, very smart. He wants the imminent arrest of the DCI boss to be stopped, to be halted, and he's using the same courts that you know, seal the fate of the DCI boss. So let's see how this pans out. I am sure they'll get justice.
Absolutely, but you know, still on that story, a couple of days ago, the DCI boss, Judge Kinoti, said that he would rather, you know, go to jail than obey a court order compelling him to return guns since seized from the tycoon Jibi Wanjigi. And you know, he further stated that he is not the custodian of, you know, guns, and you know, can therefore not give back what is not in his possession. You know, that story is on page 7. You can definitely grab your copy of the Daily Nation and have a read on that as well. Also on the front page, there's an interesting story there on the pay cut, you know, as 1,000 police officers to sue employer in salary cut rose. I don't know if this is the part where you get to talk about a toxic work environment, because you know, with this pay cut, you know, which they are about to face, it is definitely a slap in the face.
Well, yes, definitely. That is very, very unfortunate, especially because of the unprecedented times that we are living in. 1,000 police officers to sue over salary cut. I think that is quite unfortunate for them. But I'll take you back kidogo to the DCI, George Kinoti, saying that he'd rather go to jail than surrender guns belonging to presidential aspirant Jimmy Wanjigi. Mudhoni, be careful what you wish for. Be very, very careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. So, 1,000 police officers to sue over salary cut. I think this is also unprecedented, because police officers in our country, I don't think they've been allowed to join a union, you know, like teachers and many other people from other fields. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Police employed by the national government, you know, coming forward and saying, you know what, apana now, tumekata, we are going to court, we need our salaries reinstated. Let me just wacha niachie hapo. I won't go deep into it. But wow, 7,000 shillings is what one of the police officers was paid this month after demotion from job group J to F.
Absolutely, and with these, salary cuts.
But something. These are the men.
Continue.
Well, I was saying these are the men and women who keep us safe. So you can imagine for 7,000 shillings, and as I've just mentioned, we're living in unprecedented times. The coronavirus pandemic has really rendered many people jobless. The economy is skyrocketing. So I think 7,000 shillings after a whole month's job is quite unfair for that particular officer. But yeah, go right ahead.
Absolutely, but with these salary cuts that we're getting to see here, with the recruitments that happen annually, people, the youth, they come out putting their best foot forward, putting their best face forward, just to hope to be recruited or to be part of the Kenya Police service team. There, some of them even are really quite passionate on doing their jobs. They want to still push on with the education part, go out there, graduate, but then they're still faced with these salary cuts. But still, at the end of the day, people still, I don't know, with these salary cuts, I'm not sure, but maybe we might get to witness a decrease in the numbers of, people that want to be recruited, as well as people who want to join the police service.
Trustee Mudhoni, you don't want to delve deep into the matter of police recruitment, and like you're saying, a lot of people yearn to work for the service. There are patriotic people out there that cannot be disputed, but we've seen other reports that are quite unfortunate, and I can't talk about it right now. We have our competent reporters who might say a thing or two about this, but let me just say that this move that is quite unprecedented by the police officers, we really hope that the body that is concerned about this, and that is the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, is going to look into their cries. We've seen them do that. We've seen the SRC do that for members of National Assembly and also the Senate. So we hope that the same justice that our legislators get, the police officers, because they really keep us safe. They do a splendid job in keeping us safe. It's not an easy job, spending all those long nights and long days, sometimes under the scorching sun. Yesterday, I observed that some of them were walking long distances just to keep us safe, and we really appreciate their efforts. So this is actually not a funny matter, and I really hope that they get justice.
Absolutely, I do agree with you on that matter. Now, thank you so much, Eric, for joining me for the newspaper highlights review. Now it is, time to get into the news segment. Thanks so much, Eric, for joining me.
Karibu.
Okay, now let's delve into the news segment as business operations came to a standstill for the better part of Tuesday along Angawa Avenue in Kisumu as a standoff ensued between police officers and 4 suspected robbers at the Equity Bank. For more than 4 hours, gunshots rent the air as the police officers pursued the suspected criminals. But as David Modhoka reports, the suspects are said to have escaped after masquerading as bank clients.
For the better part of Tuesday, these were the scenes outside Equity Bank Angawa Avenue branch in Kisumu. An area that is normally buzzing with business activities was today buzzing with an altogether different commotion caused by curious onlookers. This as a standoff ensued between tens of police officers and 4 suspected robbers who for hours remained holed up inside the bank. According to witnesses, the robbers made their way inside the bank minutes past 11 a.m. and handed a teller a note demanding her to surrender an unspecified amount of cash.
Hapo ndani ya bank kuna tear gas ilirushwa. Na wakati hiyo tear gas ilirushwa, ilileta msisimuko kwa wale customers wale walikuwa ndani.
Upon lobbing tear gas canisters at other clients, a melee was witnessed inside the bank, resulting into police officers, uniformed and plain-clothed, all armed to the teeth, to rush to the scene. In no time, the bank, that was now an active crime scene, was cordoned off, and for 4 hours, police lay siege. Gunshots from police rent the air intermittently as other police officers scaled the wall in an attempt to flush out the robbery suspects, who are said to have been holed up in the building's first floor. The efforts will, however, be in vain, as the robbers gave the officers a sleep after masquerading as bank clients.
Tukakubaliana na regional police commander, wale watu wote walikuwa kwa bank, tuchukue wote tupeleke kwa police station ili tuweze kusearch tujue ni nani alihusika. So as we are talking, most of the people are at the police station. We want after this to go and do another search.
How the 4 suspected robbers escaped, as well as whether they made away with cash, is a mystery that the police are seeking to solve. This, as reports indicate, that nobody was injured in the 4-hour-long incident. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Report now. All is set for the 7th and final annual Devolution Conference in Makueni County. There were heightened activities in the county ahead of the conference, with Governor Kifutha Kibwana signing a pact with British government through its High Commissioner Jane Mariotte, signing a partnership with the Southeastern Counties Economic Bloc (SECEB). This comes as governors called for the involvement of counties in combating terrorism.
Not just supporting Makueni and these 3 counties alone, they're working to support all the 7 economic blocks. And this is in keeping with the fact that at the national level, the Ministry of Devolution has been developing the policy of the economic blocks. At Bomas, we were not able to get the regions accepted. And so, although we have 47 counties, which are very dear to Kenyans in the various counties, but it's important to organize several counties together so that there can be economies of scale in terms of investments, in terms of development, in terms of doing common things.
Security as a function squarely lies in the hands of national government. But we feel that we have a critical role to play, and more particularly now that we're headed towards electioneering period. We want to see how counties can be involved with what we define as soft approach. Communities engaged, civil society, and other government institutions that will enable us to create some kind of a seamless structure for us to participate actively in achieving peace and security within our counties and beyond.
We have international speakers that are going to talk on serious subjects, and this coming after the Glasgow conference that just ended about a week ago. We are the first country in the world to actually hold a conference after Glasgow, and in a sense it was a blessing in disguise that this conference didn't take place in March last year or even in August, that it's taking place immediately after Glasgow, because we now understand the deliberations and the communique that came out of it in the broader context of the Paris Agreement that is ongoing up to 2025.
Kenyans will soon be allowed to travel to South Africa without a visa. This comes after a presidential task force was formed to look into the matter. As Elizabeth Atieno now reports, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa have signed 8 memorandum of understandings to strengthen bilateral ties between the 2 countries.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is in South Africa for a 3-day state visit, has cited trade imbalance as the main impediment to trade between the 2 countries.
Further, noting that trade between our 2 countries is currently hugely in favor of South Africa, we should agree to task technical teams to propose measures that our two countries could adopt to address the trade imbalance. I want to encourage South African businesses to consider investing more in the full portfolio of opportunities to unlock the latent potential of our cooperation.
Each of our countries has the indigenous knowledge and expertise to benefit the other. These efforts to strengthen economic ties are not possible without the facilitation of movement of people between our two countries.
We have approximately 100 business people, both regulators and private business, who will be coming for the business forum. This is a big opportunity because trade and trade-related matters and investment are of great importance to both our countries. And this is an area that we are looking forward to strengthening, to deepening, and indeed to cementing.
During the bilateral talks, President Kenyatta and Ramaphosa agreed to set up a presidential task force team to expedite visa-free travel for Kenyans traveling to South Africa.
So with this in mind, I would indeed appreciate the progress made so far towards the realization of reciprocal visa-free travel regimes between our two countries be looked at, for this will certainly act as a catalyst to boosting trade and investment between our two brotherly countries for the mutual benefit of our people.
This memorandum of understanding being signed will be the precursor to establishing a visa-free regime for Kenyans coming to South Africa, which will be reciprocal because South Africans are able to go into Kenya without visas.
The 8 agreements signed by President Kenyatta and Ramaphosa include MOUs in transport, health, trade, investment, diplomatic consultations and training, as well as tourism and migration. On matters health, President Kenyatta has commended South Africa for being at the forefront in fighting COVID-19, especially in the manufacturing of vaccines.
We in Kenya aim to start local production of COVID-19 vaccines during the first quarter of 2022 with the aim of developing a fully fledged vaccine manufacturing capacity by 2024.
In this regard, the head of state is expected to tour the Aspen company in Pretoria.
So this is of particular interest to His Excellency the President and of course the Minister of Health to be able to engage with this company that has already started manufacturing the J&J vaccine.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Moving on, Deputy President William Ruto has continued to drum up support for his bottom-up economic model in Kericho County. Addressing supporters in Kericho, the DP promised to deliver on the remaining Jubilee projects. Joash Ansari reports.
Just a day after Deputy President William Ruto distanced himself from the 2022 campaigns, stating that he has not yet kicked off his presidential campaigns, today he pitched tent in Kericho County, where he continued to drum up support for his bottom-up economic model.
Kericho chamge! Bwana Yesu asifiwe!
Addressing Kipkelion East and Belgut residents in Kericho County, the Deputy President condemned tribal formations.
You cannot create inclusivity by changing the constitution and creating 2 or 3 positions. You can achieve inclusivity by building a national political party where all communities, all people from all sectors, from all religions, from all races, can feel at home in a national political party.
DP Ruto said he is ready to take the country to the next level by reviving key programs and stalled projects, a strategy he says his competitors do not have.
We have a track record. Our competitors should come with their track record. It is not enough to come with insults. It is not enough to come with mere rhetoric. Kenyans want to know what is your plan and what is your track record.
Leaders who accompanied the deputy president accused ODM leader Raila Odinga of derailing the government's Big Four agenda to achieve what they termed as selfish ambition.
Mr. Kitendawili, the people you ought to stop from being president, William Ruto, kwa majaliwa ya Mwenyezi Mungu, this is the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. We cannot give another chance, not even 1 minute, for Raila Odinga to sit in that seat, because these 4 years he has brought down the government of Kenya to become a very useless government that cannot achieve anything. Sitataka kukomea wale ambao wanakuja na hii opinion poll ambaye ni fake. Ati wewe sijui wewe unakimbizana na ule mzee wa kitendawili. Wewe ni gari mpya machine. Kama ungekuwa pikipiki wewe ungekuwa boxer. Ile ambaye inakimbia kabisa. Watu wa Kericho jameni, mnakubali tutembee pamoja kwa UDA.
Joash Onsare, TV 47.
ODM leader Raila Odinga is now rooting for intra-Africa trade, speaking when he presided over the opening of IGAD conference here in Nairobi. Raila said Africa needs to address challenges bedeviling the continent for trade to thrive. Paul Kirobi with the story.
ODM boss Raila Odinga today opened a 3-day IGAD meeting on regional infrastructure, with the ODM boss rooting for inter-Africa trade.
Africa is not the only continent with landlocked countries. I've lived in Europe. You've got countries like the Czech Republic, Switzerland, Hungary, and so all those countries in Central Europe are all landlocked. But they don't feel it. They don't feel it because their goods can find their way to the ports with a lot of ease. So we must actually cut this bureaucratic red tape and senseless spirit of nationalism.
According to the ODM leader, network amongst governments, development partners, investors and other stakeholders can be realized if African leaders up their game.
We must find ways to maximize the synergies among our states and the sub-regional bodies to speed up regional connectivity. This is especially important in the area of financing of regional infrastructure projects, which appears to be a problem.
IGAD Executive Secretary Wona Jebeyehu, who echoed Odinga's sentiments, termed insecurity among African countries as a major challenge affecting some nations, scaring away some investors.
The uncertainty fostered by the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia, the state of governance transition in Sudan, as well as the recent terrorist attack in Uganda, constitute a risk of eroding investor confidence in development programming and threaten to stall or even roll back infrastructural investment and all other our activities in economic and social field.
The former Prime Minister, who is eyeing the country's top seat in 2022, has promised to improve the living standards of the ordinary Kenyans if elected the country's 5th president. The IGAD master plan on infrastructure that will cost at least $34 billion has 61 projects in transport, 9 projects in energy, 14 projects in ICT, and 5 projects in transboundary waterways, sponsored by Africa Development Bank. Paul Kirobi, TV 47, Nairobi.
Moving on, One Kenya Alliance principals held a consultative meeting with members of the Mount Kenya Unity Forum in what is perceived as a formation of a new coalition. Mwangi Maina reports.
Whether the One Kenya Alliance will be dissolved or not will be a matter of wait and see, as OKA principals Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi and Moses Wetangula cast their nets deep to fish for more coalition partners. In a closed-door meeting that lasted for an hour at a Nairobi hotel, the leaders deliberated on working together to deliver a strong coalition that will rival other coalitions and parties ahead of the 2022 general elections.
We came together to explore possibilities of working together. We belong to Kenya, and none of us can do it alone.
The leaders say they will hold more consultative meetings that will chart a way forward for the One Kenya Alliance and the Mount Kenya Unity Forum.
OCA and Mount Kenya Unity Forum have started a journey of moving together, and we have had a very fruitful meeting this morning, and more meetings will follow, and we only can urge Kenyans to watch this space.
Sources private to the deliberations of the meetings disclosed to TV47 that neither parties will be supporting ODM leader Raila Odinga or Deputy President William Ruto, but will remain independent. In their bid to scale the mountain, OCA has held various meetings in the Mount Kenya region in the counties of Kiambu, Nyeri, Laikipia, Meru and Nyandarua. After the meeting, the leaders visited the home of Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju to condole with him following the demise of his stepmother. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report. Now it's time to take a short break. We will be right back with more.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists, door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey. And for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have always united out of their own volition.
Reduce your madness.
Kenyans are suffering.
Would that be fair to conclude?
I don't want your station to be sued. That Jubilee government has never been able to sponsor any successful project.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. We say disability is not inability.
Our impairment are not disability. Disability is the barriers put across by the society.
Beyond the Limit gives a voice to those abled differently.
People with special needs can undertake a job, particularly that is customer service focused, as good, if not better than people that are 100% abled.
We bring you conversations of these great persons, round table conversations, and many more. Every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Tasty. 100 yani chumvi imeonja kabisa, like you do not need to add anything.
So
the first thing you need is a beekeeper.
Welcome back to the Morning Cafe. Remember, you can keep on interacting with us at TV47 Kenya across all social media platforms. Now, the government has issued a red alert over the rise in cases of road accident and fatalities witnessed in the country in the recent past. As Willie Dennis Njiru reports, lack of discipline on the roads and speeding has been attributed to the swelling numbers of fatalities on the road.
Speaking while on an inspection tour of the Mai Mahiu Dukamoja stretch on the Narok Road Tuesday, the government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna allayed fears that fatalities from road traffic accidents this year alone outweigh the corona cases.
Kwa hivyo kwa miezi zaidi ya 18 kwa corona ni watu 5,000 na 100 kitu. Kwa ajali hizi za barabarani kwa miezi 11 watu 1,423.
In 2020, the number of fatalities from road traffic accidents stood at 3,340, a figure that has risen by more than 600 to 4,023 by November this year, with motorcycles leading the pack at 1,508 and 43 drivers.
Tumefanya analysis ya hizo accidents zenye zimetokelezea kwa mwaka mzima. Tumeona tumepoteza wananchi wengi.
Sheria zipo za kutosha na tunazifahamu, lakini tunazipuuza. Tungezingatia hata 20% tu hizo sheria, ajali za barabarani zingepungua kwa 20% pia.
Statistics drawing the Mai Mahiu stretch to Dukamoja shopping center as the worst in the country, claiming 53 lives and injuring 103 others, with the latest incident claiming 4 lives.
Zile ajali zimekuwa zikifanyika kwa hii barabara. Tukifanya analysis yetu, tunaona most of them zinakuwa led by human errors.
Human errors, speed, poor calculations while overtaking have been blamed for the rise in cases, with the highest percentage being inadequate automobile inspection of cars that were on long recess following the corona pandemic.
Wengi ni vile watu walikuwa pengine wameweka hizo magari. Mtu anatoa tu gari hata haijafanywa service. Na kama ilikuwa imesimama na unaenda kwa barabara kwa sababu inaguruma, ile hata hii pengine hiyo mguu imechomeka na jua, unaenda unakuta pothole ama chimo na kunakuwa na tire burst.
The NTSA is however conducting free clinics for all vehicles on Kenyan roads to ascertain roadworthiness and avert further road carnage as the festive season draws closer, in addition to the close down of schools for second-term holidays.
Na tunafanya hivyo kwa sababu tunajua wengi wenu mlikuwa mmeweka tu magari na mnaanza kusimamisha kusipeleka kwa barabara.
Hata tunapojiandaa kwa sababu ya msimu wa Krismasi na pia tunapojiadhari kwa sababu ya matumizi ya barabara.
Tungemuomba tukielekea kwa hii festive season, ikiwa ni wewe unajua ndugu yako, watu wapunguze pombe, sababu ile analysis yote inatuleta ni vitu sisi wenyewe tunaweza zuia.
Reporting for TV47 from Mai Mahiu in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Now, Kaptesek residents in Baringo County took to the streets to protest over what they termed as land grabbing in the area. The residents claim a private developer has fenced off a section of the Kaptesek road, paralyzing transport in the area. Lavin Atieno reports.
Transport was paralyzed for the better part of the day as residents barricaded the Eldama Ravine Nakuru highway in a move aimed at ensuring the local authorities intervene and help them get back their road. Addressing the press, Jackson Langat, the man who claims the road sits on his land, remained adamant that the road is his piece of land despite complaints by residents.
Nimefunga shamba yangu, sijafunga barabara. Nikashikwa na kupelekwa kotini. Tukaenda kufanya kesi na machifu. nikawashinda. Ukitaka mrembo kwangu unapata mmesikiliza na mrembo yangu, si mpaka utakuja kuniongelesha. Sasa wenye wanataka wakuja tuongee.
Residents maintain the road has been in use for more than 4 decades and the land where the road sits belongs to no one. They now want government to give them back their road as most of them depend on it.
Mimi nimesaliwa 1978 na nimepita hii barabara paka leo nikiwa na miaka 43.
Kisaliwa hii barabara imekuwa. Sasa wenye wametufungia barabara, tunaomba tu serikali watufungulie barabara because hii barabara inatumiwa na watoto wa shule, mashosho. Hata mama akitaka kujifungua sasa atapitia wapi ili afike hospitali aende ajifungue.
The Deputy Commissioner for Eldama Ravine, Omar Ali, urged residents to be patient as they find a solution to the problem. Lavin Atieno, TV 47.
Now, the multi-agency forum formed by the government to provide a roadmap for stakeholders ahead of next year's polls have adopted a work plan proposed by the Technical Working Committee. During a meeting at the Kenya School of Government on Tuesday, Chief Justice Martha Koome said the forum will meet again on 30th of November to review and adopt the amended budget. In a meeting also attended by Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, the forum rejected the budgetary proposals for further review by the technical team.
The forum has, however, requested the technical working group to further review the budgetary proposals so that there is proper harmonization. There are some items that could have been provided for in the current budget, and there are some items which were left out. The special meeting, which will be held next week, will guide on the formulation of an action plan. And what I need to emphasize is that when we get the action plan, we will disperse to our various institutions for purposes of implementation.
Kenya Maritime Authority has started the first session of public participation on the proposed maritime laws through Amendment Bill of 2021 and merchant shipping, which involves maritime transport operations and regulations. The amendments, which were proposed in collaboration with the Kenya law reforms, will play a big role in the maritime industry, including the Blue Economy Initiative once implemented for 16 the laws, which will assist in ensuring effectiveness in service delivery. In a bid to grow the economy, seafarers have also been considered in the Shipping Act, where the owners of the vessels will be held liable in cases where the sailors are stranded or abandoned.
Regulatory framework for addressing the governance issues that would take in the Blue Economy initiatives that we have in the country. Even administering our regulatory functions on maritime safety, marine pollution control, plus many other aspects of the industry, but also in the transport logistics. How do we get into the industry as Kenyans? And then how do we bring orderliness that can help in the availability of the services, that can help in their efficient delivery of those services from the private sector, from the government agencies, dealing with the cargo clearance issues, plus affordability. To what extent can they be made affordable and competitive so that they can grow the economy?
So many things has changed in the world of shipping, especially for seafarers. So we are also trying to introduce the new regulations, MLC regulations, which are going to protect the seafarers' rights, so that they have decent working environment on board the ship that they are serving. So we are introducing such amendments in the Merchant Shipping Act, to address the issues of seafarers. To introduce a bill on the liability of, the vessel owner to be held liable. So we are trying to introduce financial liability. So in case a vessel is stranded in port like this one, is abandoned by the owner, the insurance can be able to pay.
Now let's cross over to Facebook for a while. I'll sample a few of your feedback, and I can see Nazarite Junior saying good morning to you too. I'm watching from Bungoma County. Thank you so much. Ola Francis Mwangi is there as well, saying Nyandarua County well represented. Owen Ndongo says you have a great future ahead of you. Thank you so much, Owen. Brian Dan watching from Karen. We have King Otie 2 from Githurai. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Edwin Muli and Maurice Linyoni as well, saying he's tuned in from Mombasa. Keep your comment and feedback coming in at TV47 Kenya across all social media platforms. Now, we will get to delve into the matters of state of devolution in the country. We'll get to focus on the hits and misses as well. And, we will get to see the dialogue approach which will be adopted through panel discussions followed by plenary engagement sessions and side events to discuss various climate action agendas. Remember, the 7th annual devolution summit is being held in Makueni County. We've got a team on standby which will definitely brief us and update us, and with whatever will be going on there, with the overall objective being strengthening subnational governments to act on climate change and develop stronger mitigation capacities. And there are also more important themes which are included in this 7th Devolution Summit. Matters of impact on climate change and pandemics on subnational, national, and continental as well, in matters of global peace and security. There'll also be climate change and disaster risk management, the finance climate action at the subnational level, the vulnerability and resilience in the face of climate change, effective waste management in climate action. There's definitely a wake-up call for Kenya, and with all these which will be tabled in with all those panel discussions, we will get to see if whatever will be tabled in, if it will get to the ground, and we will get to see